Ooh, I've got the speculation window on. Right from the beginning.
Wow, great start.
Yeah, that was a professional all the way through. Yeah. How you guys doing? I'm Execute. Welcome to today's stream. I'm joined today by Hater. Piggles is taking a well-deserved break. How you doing, Hater?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I'm doing dandy. I'm doing great. It's like 9 a.m. And we got things.
I like your new logo, by the way. I think it looks really good. So yeah, just
Thank
calling
you.
that out.
You can catch my new logo on my my personal YouTube and Twitch channels because I want to do other things now than leaks. Because why not?
All right. So what are we kicking off with today, sir?
Oh yeah. So Tony Zurovec has spilled the beans. What is Ninetales Lockdown and Dynamic Events Future? Basically, today we're just gonna be just chill chatting, giving our thoughts, we're gonna be giving some thoughts on the entire dynamic event structure, how it's going, some updates on the last episode, some just expanded thoughts on it. Excuse has some of the paste bins set up with the information just so we can or better show it than just a couple images which have a zoom in effect on a YouTube video with awful audio balancing. Sorry, by the way. Yeah.
All right. So do you want to go into the paste bin now, or what do you want to go into specifically?
I just want to talk about Hater Bathwater Never, Pickles.
Right.
Echoey Hater. I apparently have an echo.
That would be you coming through my headphones, I'm pretty sure. But, talk again.
Hello.
I don't know what's causing the echo, unless it was the mic too close to me.
Here, let me hear it on the stream. But actually, no, I'm hearing it on the stream. It doesn't sound like I'm echoing on the stream. I think I don't know. We'll figure.
I don't know what it is then, because the only audio that's coming through for you is Discord, and there's no desktop audio or anything, so I don't know what's causing it from my end.
Yeah, we'll figure it out at some point.
I apologize in advance, but
I can't even.
Yeah, unless it's coming back through when I talk at the same time as you. I don't know what's causing it. Sorry about that, chat. Anyway, let's just move on, because I don't know how to fix it, unfortunately.
He's not echoing on the stream? Yeah, okay, so we're good.
Alright, cool.
Oh wait, am I just echoing on Never mind. Okay, yeah, so we have some Ninetale or dynamic events on general. Like, they said they got 10 of them planned. I saw some people speculate that meant they have 10 this year. No. They have at most. They have
1
at most
quarter, maybe
5. No, well, not 1 quarter. 1 quarter is a little too much. So the dynamic events I can count that are basically confirmed are the Ninetales Lockdown. Several things are going to be, or 1 or 2 things are going to be brought into the dynamic event system, because the dynamic event system that they set up handles some stuff better. We'll talk about that a little later. There's the Fleet Week Citizen Con events, and I think there's another one that they usually do in game. I'm not sure. And then we have the Ninetales Lockdown.
So hang on,
I've already said that.
I said 1 quarter, so I assume that would be 4, and you said 5. So now I'm kind of confused. So you reckon there's going to be 5 events or 4? How many are you calling?
So here's the thing with dynamic events and how they're labeled right now. And I think they're going to go more in depth on this. Or actually, Tony Zurovec kind of hinted at this being
in that
how they're looking at them.
That recording that he's going to do.
In those talks, but dynamic events aren't always going to be these giant things. They aren't going to be these PR marketing tools. I mean, most of them are. Or no, it's all PR. All in-game marketing is probably going to be done by dynamic events, but all dynamic events aren't in-game marketing. Or these giant things. For example, something that's already coming into the files is that player bounties. I'm not exactly have a new dynamic event called the multiplayer battle event,
Right.
which is what I assume, looking into it a bit, is their solution to a ship full of bounties, where it's just going to be this one event, or it's handled as an event rather than like just 5 bounties inside of a ship.
Okay.
There's going to be like small things like bounties moved into the dynamic event system, because that's kind of what they are. They're just a mission is just like is static in a way, but these dynamic events are just dynamic. I want to verbalize, or I'm trying to verbalize this the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
But think of like if an event kind of takes, or if a mission would take like more processing than just, oh, you go to this location, you do this, then you leave, then it's probably going to be handled by the dynamic event system, where it's no longer these static like objectives. It's something that everyone can dip in on.
Well, I have a question, and this has been prompted by Lou Hodo in chat. He's mentioning theaters of war. Do you think that that'll be kind of brought in as dynamic events? Like, will that be a part of the system, or is it, you reckon that's completely something different that'll be completely different from the PU, or do you think they're going to kind of merge the two? That's a question for me. I know that's
the dynamic event system is more how Subsumption handles things,
right?
And the only thing I actually saw which is handled by Subsumption in a large part by Theaters of War is the AI transport systems, because they have AI that like brings Valkyries down. You can go into them, and then it brings you up to the space station. That is handled by Subsumption, but there's no hinting of like that being its own dynamic event.
Okay. All right. I just thought I'd ask because it was a good. It just kind of prompted me to think like maybe might merge those two in the future. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just there's missions which are just easy. Like, sure, there's some like dynamicism. There's dynamic elements to a lot of missions in Star Citizen, but when a mission can be entirely dynamic, or everything about a mission has to be dynamic in a way, then it's at least more complex than just waypoints generated. Then it's probably going to be handled by the dynamic event system in the future. So when they say 10 dynamic events, it could be 10. I doubt it's going to be 10 for the year. But don't think of it as they're going to be 10 Xeno threats. What's likely going to happen is that there's just 10 things handled by the dynamic event manager.
Well, it also could be 10 planned, but only 5 or 4 make the cut too. Like, that could be the other part of it too. I don't know. In that regard,
maybe there is always that. There is always CIG's famous planning. Yeah. But moving on to specific dynamic events.
Yep.
This guy looks like. Yeah, I'll show that. John says he looks like you need some fucking sleep really, really bad.
Oh yeah, man. I woke up halfway through my sleep cycle for this today's show. That's why I've got the big bags under my eyes. That's how you know when I'm tired, because I always get these little lines under my eyes. But yeah. All right. Do you want to address the question in chat that I think's been asked about 30 times right now? So I'll let you answer that one. I think it's pretty obvious.
Oh, is it the 400i?
Yeah.
Freaking 400i? They are not. Okay, here's the thing. I'm just going to say at this point, unless something happens on the side, I doubt we're gonna find anything else before its big reveal for 3.13. Like, the only thing that has been quote unquote revealed on it between that video and now is that it's done now.
Right.
Like, it's on the roadmap. It's shown up as finished. So yay. It's the Q1 unannounced ship, by the way.
So you were saying that any guess that you would say is just speculation at this point? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like what? Oh wait, what do you mean?
Well, if someone's asking you when you think the 400i is going to come out, you're saying that you'd only be able to speculate.
Yeah. I mean, like, of course, it's gonna be speculation. But like, it's the unannounced ship. I know that's not that part's not speculation. I know it was the 400i.
Right.
I think everyone knows at this point it was the 400i.
Yeah.
The question is it going to be in Q1 now that it's done?
Mm.
And the answer is we won't know until it's released.
That's
now
pretty much what
price
I was
points.
say.
The guy who usually got me that stuff, radio silent. Luckily, he's not a CIG member, so it's not like someone got fired over it.
Yeah.
And we might get some like general updates on it, but I doubt we're gonna we're just gonna see a teaser for Origin the week before they announce it, and then they're just gonna announce it.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. It's gonna be like how they did the tire.
I'm going to do a small bit of speculation here, but I would hope to see it before Invictus Week. Would you assume that, or if you were to take a guess yourself?
Before Invictus? Yeah. Could happen. Could happen. I mean, it probably will happen. Wait, when's Invictus again?
May, roughly in May. So it's like still 3.
Oh,
like
yeah, no, it'll
February,
definitely be before Invictus.
March,
they'll
April,
probably have
May.
They'll probably have something else to pull out of their ass. They always do. It's probably going to be a concept for Invictus, which is why we probably won't be able to get our hands on it.
Fortunately, there's nothing we can do to fix the people with the Origin bug. I feel sorry for you if you're a fan of Origin, but if you, I will give you this though. I do think as an Origin ship, it's probably one of the best looking ones we've had in a long time from Origin.
The 400i.
Yeah, there's something, I don't know what it is. I think it's because it's a bit more real world based, like those photos Pickles and I found about the actual yacht that looks very similar to it. It just looks a little bit more realistic to me. I know that sounds weird, but to me the 400i it seems a little bit more close to realism.
Fucking toothbrush looking ass ship.
Yeah,
I think it's most real.
well. Again, I'll show you the images that me and people found. There's like a it's, I can't remember the name. It's like a catamaran or whatever, but that rides on three like planes, and this ship looks very similar to that ship. So yeah. All right, we'll move on then. What have you got next for us?
I see what you mean. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, let's get into a specific dynamic event, or just let's go very much in depth on it. Again, spoilers for the event.
Okay.
Again, here. I'm going to throw those comments live. But, yeah, so let's get into a specific dynamic event. The Lockdown, that's what it's called. The one confirmed by Tony Zurovec.
Do you want me to bring up the
Yeah, you can bring it up now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we're just going to be just doing a bit of just a general look at stuff. Spoilers, by the way, for the event itself. But, just gonna talk generally about the event. I'll probably just bring up specific quotes as we go along. And, yeah. Now, just to talk about the event itself, I just want to talk about what I mentioned in the episode, it being a two-phased event. It's my fault. I think I kind of regret what I said in the episode on the phase thing, mainly because phases probably was a bit too either too broad or too specific, whatever makes more sense in the English language for that fuck up. But
I still think the Xeno thread has phases, so I don't think you were too far.
Well, yeah.
But some may have phases, some may not have phases. It depends on how they do it.
Well, it's just how I define the phases. So basically, the way the event works is that you'll be warned by the comms. Here, give me 1 second, because I accidentally closed up the paste bins myself like a freaking idiot. Yeah, you have the Lagrange alert one up, I hope. It should just be like a block of text. First bit should be like, hello, Security Chief Lunez here.
I was on the wrong one. My bad. All right, we're on the other one. Yep, we're on the right one now.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, Security Chief Lunez is monitoring the situation. If we go to line 12, you can see that we're getting warnings that people of Crusader is going to be in a Crusader area, by the way, as all of it is Crusader text. Like, it all says, people of Crusader, people of the Crusader. All of the Lagrange points mentioned are Crusader Lagrange points.
Do you want me to read it?
I hope I'm saying that. You can if you want.
So this is Crusader Chief Lurez. I am calling upon traders and haulers in the sector for assistance during these ongoing hostilities. With regular quantum traffic currently offline, our forces and allies are in dire need of emergency supplies, delivered past blockade to Battlefield Glen Station. Fair compensation will be offered as a thanks for undertaking such risks during these times.
Okay,
and I'm assuming they all come through in little videos, yeah? Like that we've heard about. No? Just audio, so just a radio call, right?
Just audio, yeah. I doubt they're gonna. So we're gonna sidetrack a bit because I think it's important to mention. CRG has been playing with the idea of either doing stuff pre-rendered or not pre-rendered through the Bink video system. You could see it. You could see it in the Squadron 42 videos. Or the Squadron 42 vertical slice, where all of the comms were rendered in-game. Now, they've been playing with whether or not they want to do in-game rendering, or they'll just pre-render a bunch of that stuff. So, because it's very intensive to do a live render, especially because you have to render the cockpit of a ship you're calling, and you might not always have the ability to do that. That's just something on the side. So I doubt they were kind of, some of the files for Xenothreat kind of hinted at the fact that they might have did everything pre-rendered with with Bink files. They had it set up so all those audio calls that were coming in were going to be Bink files. So you would see Dooley's face, you would see the Xenothreat's face, you would see all their faces on your holo screen. But they kind of reneged on that and didn't end up doing it. I kind of doubt they're going to start doing it, so I wouldn't. This is probably just going to be a Crusader icon popping up on your Mobi-Glass screen. But going back into it, I had incorrectly thought that this was going to be a mission. You would have to grab cargo from a specific area, bring it in, and it would be all under the guise of a mission. The one thing I never found in the files, which is why I shouldn't have gone forward with it, was a cargo mission. I had assumed that it just wasn't there. Now, Tony Zurovec, kind of him, to talk about it, talked about him shot modifiers. Now, what's more likely going to happen is that whenever a place gets blockaded, which means they're going to have a flagship or a freaking Idris and a small fleet around a Lagrange point, where somewhere or in the Lagrange point, and putting up a huge quantum dampener, meaning you have to fly in from the initial quantum point, and then you have to fly out. So it's a bit long to do, and also sometimes pirates spawn, but as long as you go full max speed, they're not going to be able to do anything against you.
Right.
So it seems like what's more likely going to happen is that the commodities that are usually able to be sold at a Lagrange point, they're just going to have their prices buffed. So it's a temporary modify. This is going to be the first implementation of them having just shot modifiers. CIG mentioned in the past.
That sounds
Tony.
Sorry, that sounds like a small test of Quanta there in the background, where they've just kind of buffed it temporarily. Do you think that is the case, or is it more
I wouldn't
manual?
say it's Quanta.
All right.
I would more just call it just their first. It's the first test of what they wanted to do with Quanta.
Okay.
Which is, these pirates are attacking somewhere, or X is happening here. How do we want to have that affect the economy? They want to have this dynamic trading system, and that doesn't really exist apart from, we don't have enough of that, so you can't buy anymore, or we have enough of that, so you can't sell anymore. This is that first test of, there's this external event that is affecting our trades that isn't the trading itself. which I think is something you're probably going to do a lot more. But this Ninetales blockade will be the first test of, or not test, but like the first implementation of, hey, we want to prevent you from doing something easily, and we'll pay you for it. For cargo runs. So people who do cargo are going to have something more interesting to do than, oh, let's just wait 3 hours for our refineries to go through, and that's the depth we're going to put in. Jeez, yeah. Oh no. Wait 1 second. Yeah, like what's your thoughts on that, Execute? While I do this in the background.
I having hindsight of learning about Xenothreat and then other missions, I actually, like, everything seems to, like, I was always confused why there were two kind of Idris missions in the background, and this for me is kind of like, now you can see that they've been working on it. Like, he actually, Tony Zurovec said they only started working on it like mid last year. But we knew about Xenothreat at the end of 2019. So I think they've been actually working on this a lot longer than they said they have been. Unless
okay.
it was stuff that's merged in.
I want to mention that CIG is a liar, or is a bunch of liars when it comes to, oh, we're working on this for X amount of time. Like, okay, the final version, they probably are giving accurate timelines, but the initial versions that they work on for years to set up for the stuff, like, I would have no doubt that they did additional stuff or additional, like, groundwork for when they started work on their final version. Like, Xenothreat used to be something a little bit different. Like, you know this, I know this. It was going to be more of a dynamic moving fleet that goes from planet to planet attacking stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than this cargo mission. But they've already had that basis of they want to do something with Xenothreat for years. Then there's like stuff like Theaters of War. Like, they've been wanting to have this ground-based cargo, or this ground-based FPS test map with like mixed arms. So like the Nexus.
Yeah.
That's what the original name of it was called, because it was in the Nexus system. I think the current one is also in the Nexus system, so I don't really think they changed the lore of it. But they've always been testing out these mixed combat events, or these or they were doing that since like 2018 or 2019, and then they say they were only working on it for like 4 or 5 months or whatever. They were probably working on that final version for that much time. Mike says, make my sandbox and quit trying to script these events in Theaters of War. Never as good as full control.
Yeah, I just read that as well.
Multiplayer.
Yeah, I just read that as well.
I mean,
quite funny.
These events are... Okay, so you can do those Jump Town-like events all you want, but it's not gonna... You're not gonna catch the general audience with... Or this is more my opinion. I don't think you can really catch a general audience with doing the player initiative stuff. Like, the only reason I think Jump Town got so big was just because it became a meme, and it was just fuck all to do.
It still, though, was one of the best. It was kind of like a player-driven dynamic event, so to speak. Like, it was made by us, so to speak. And I think that's why it was one of the best times I've had in the game. And I do think eventually they are trying to emulate that. And I think the other part of these dynamic events is they are planning for long-term things to actually just randomly happen. Like, so if a player blocks off an area, it'll trigger a dynamic event through corner or whatever, and they can have a whole pool of these events that they can pull in and create that makes it feel more realistic.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing about Jump Town is that it was dynamic. It came in and out because of almost entirely the players.
Yeah.
I don't think we could really blame CIG for doing I wouldn't even say they killed it that much, but
I think
to say that.
I think it's because they basically just made other drug labs around the system, and because there's only 50 people on the server, it just thinned it enough that it kind of killed it. But I don't think that was their intention. I think they almost wanted to just kind of make more of it, but it didn't go the way they hoped. Well,
I think the biggest thing people need to realize is that they are going to come back. Like Jumptown stuff is going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably going to come back when numbers are just boosted with all the meshing stuff that should it is very much a should and not a is at the moment, as CIG is still not put it out on the roadmap that they want to do Pyro at the end of the year. But it should be out, or it should start being seeded towards the end of the year. Quantum Free Me is more of a sandbox teaching event. Yeah, you're kind of right.
Is there any more? Okay. Is there any more lines we want to look at on this paste bin?
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of them. There's a couple of them. I have to jump around because.
Yeah, well, just tell me the numbers on the side, and I'll highlight them if you need them highlighted.
Yeah, so you go over there, you get the station. Haulers just come, and blah 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 blah. Where is this thing? Okay, so if you read on... Sorry, I probably should have highlighted some stuff. I knew there was something towards the end I wanted to read up.
You should have added them to your notes, sir. Which number? That's all good.
No,
do you remember? Can you just give us a vague overview then, if you can't remember where it's listed?
Basically, there's some other stuff like... The initiation for the event isn't just, oh, this place is being attacked now. There's more like subtle stuff like, oh, Crusader is starting, there's high pirate activity in Crusader, make sure you watch out. And then they like warn you a specific station has like high activity, and then it goes on lockdown. Now, after a certain amount of time of it being on lockdown, which could be from like I'm guessing it's going to be about an hour, begins the final, or the crescendo event, where it's like, oh, okay, so this is the event before, the final event for it. You can move on to the other paceman now.
Yep.
Because that's mostly what that is. Where, 1 second while
So this is a new person called Herdsman. Instead of, so it's a completely different.
Lunez is the person like keeping his eye over everything, and then Herdsman is just the guy who's actually heading the operation.
Fair enough.
I don't know what ship he's gonna be in, but it'd be cool if it's an Idris or something. But yeah, so he and a bunch of he employs the player to come, and there's a variety of scanning ships that he has at his disposal, and you go around looking for Xenothreat. Or not Xenothreat, the Ninetales. And you have to defend the scanning ships. It's basically it's a bigger version of what is currently these scanning missions, where instead of just having a single ship and you go around place to place, there's a couple scanning ships. It's not two. I mean, like there's a few scanning ships, a lot more of a Navy presence, whatever the hell Herdsman is in, because he can't die.
So let me read this part here, because this is very relevant to what you're saying. So it says, glad you could join us. We all need the help we can get. I'm Commander Herdsman with Crusader Security. I'll be overseeing this operation. The scan ships are going to help us locate whatever the Ninetales are using to block quantum travel. But until they do, you need to protect them all. Clear? Eyes open, triggers ready, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, you have this larger ship. You have Herdsman lead you through the area. You take on a variety of pirates as you go along. It's a blockade. There's a bunch of pirates. And then you find the flagship, which has a giant fucking quantum dampener. The goal of the players is to take out the dampener first, obviously. And then you wipe out everyone else. Like, 1 second. Check out line number 41. You can see, like, 41. Scan info coming in, and there we found finally found the fleet with the quantum dampener.
Yep.
And so you basically, the goal is to first take out the flagship, which there is a flagship with quantum.
I think this is an important line. He literally is talking about like how we've succeeded, and he goes, "Here, you've earned this." So we're getting something for our efforts. I don't know if it's money or whatever, but we're getting something.
It's just money. It just says thanks with payment.
It should have been like a skin or something cool. But anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna give us a skin. This event is made to be like more repeatable. Like as you can see, there's like 10 stations. Or actually no, there are like 4 stations. You got Bountiful Harvest. That'd be like in the Crusader Lagrange zone. Or actually, it might be just ships owned by Crusader. I don't know. Ships manned by Crusader security. But yeah, you go over there. Yeah, you fight off, and you have to do it within a certain amount of time, which is about 20 minutes. Like there is actually, I think one of the lines here mentions that like an actual time. Like I think the first, like, oh, you're running out of time. It literally says on the mission descriptor, you have 15 minutes. I don't know whether there'll be an actual
they're pretty
timer.
Quick.
Or it's just...
So they're pretty quick then. They're like little small things that are just going to come up while you're, out about doing your stuff. Okay.
Well, I mean, I figure this last bit's going to be about 30, 45 minutes. Yeah. But, like, you have... Yeah.
So I can already see parts to it, though, because, like, the way that you've got to take out the quantum dampener, there are lines I've read here where it says you need to chase them down now the dampener's gone, so you might have to actually go from where, one area to where the quantum dampener is, and then from the quantum dampener to another area. So I could at least see at least 3 areas, just based on what I've read here in front of me. So I do think they will transverse, as you said in last episode. That could be a thing.
Yeah. So you can either so if you don't kill them in time, you fail, and then like everyone's mad at you. But mainly, something Star Citizen does, which is kind of weird. Is that it does the Ace Combat thing, if you know what I mean, where you can just hear everyone's comms for whatever freaking reason. For some reason, you're just able to hear enemy comms to each other. You're able to hear the private call that Lunez makes to Herdsman. That says, "Oh, I'm disappointed in you. I better see you make a report on this when you come back to Crusader." Mm-hmm. And then he like also praises Herdsman if you guys do pretty good. But no matter what happens, this is the end of the blockade. Even if you lose horribly, they will leave at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no like, oh, I want to keep I want to keep the blockade going so I can get that cash money. But unfortunately, no, there is no way of doing that. But it's kind of makes sense. They want to keep it moving throughout the system. Now, I don't know whether they're going to have it so... I mean, it kind of makes sense if they do what I'm thinking, which is, hey, let's make it so all the servers have the same station being attacked at the same time. Wouldn't that be cool? You're on...
Might spread 40 players a little thin, though. That's the only thing. But, yeah. Because that's the other thing you should mention, too. They are cutting back the number of players to make this stuff work.
I forget if they actually can finish... Is it still on 40 players, or is it on 50?
Well, it was at 50, right? But according to Tony Zurovec, I'm pretty sure he said that in his talk, they're going to have to cut it back to 40 because it just uses a little bit too much server power to get these to work.
I didn't see that in the summaries, but if they did mention that, then yeah, it kind of makes sense. They want to have as much material as possible for their for the servers. More power to it, because now they can have all the cool dynamic events they want.
Okay. Alright, is there anything else on there, or shall we move on to the next topic? There are some questions in chat, as well as...
Yeah, I don't see any question. If you got a question, put it on with question, because that would be pretty epic.
Well, suboptimal speculation on the Polaris, because obviously it's on the roadmap.
But it's not on the second roadmap, so that's it's not planned for this year.
I honestly think even then, like it's gonna take like if the one I saw said 20, I think it was 23 to 25 weeks. That's half a year. So I think it's gonna be a while before you see anything. That I'll kind of leave it at that.
Yeah, probably for like Q2 next year.
That's totally possible.
I mean, what did you expect though? It's suboptimal. Just saying, bummer. Yeah. Like it's a big boy ship, and it's also not too important compared to other ships. I mean, clearly, the freaking Crusader ship, which is in Squadron 42, is more important than the Polaris, which I think is actually in Squadron 42. That's just how it is. People want Crusader money more than freaking RSI money.
That's true.
I actually don't get why people are so horny with Crusader this year.
I just think I think that Hercules ship is kind of like the middle of the line for Crusaders. I think it's kind of like the ship that a lot of people see as the Crusader ship, and so.
Well, yeah. Okay, no, I would entirely say it's the MSR. The MSR was a big fucking deal. But
I think the Hercules was announced first. I think it was the you had the Genesis, then you had the Hercules, and I think it wasn't until the Hercules came along that it really kind of grabbed the style of Crusader. And I know, so just give me an example. Seer the Sixth, which is one of the Inforunners, he has really got a hard on for Crusader, and he doesn't really talk about the MSR half as much as he does about the Hercules. That's. And he's into that industrial logistics stuff. So I'm thinking it's a manufacturer that appeals to those logistics type people that just want to do the cargo hauling and stuff like that. Where I would agree with what you said about the MSR. Most of us that are not super Crusader fanboys would probably be more pulled into the MSR, and I think that's why we saw the MSR first before we saw the Hercules. But I think. As you're kind of saying, why they got such a hard on it, I think it's because those people that are really hard on for Crusader have been waiting for the Hercules. All right.
Okay, we also got questions on the Homestead gameplay depth upon release. Now, if you read that Homestead gameplay and how it says that's going to be AI only, you can see what the depth is going to be. So those current homesteads that are on the planet. There's your depth. That's going to be Homestead gameplay when they come out.
Yeah.
You prepare to be disappointed is all I can say on the entire Homestead gameplay shtick. I do wish that it was going to be a player guided thing on initial release, but it very clearly isn't.
Cody501 in chat does point out something important about when we're talking about the Crusader stuff. I just want to bring that up. The Herc also is very practical right now with the cargo runs because it's also going to replace the Caterpillar. So that kind of reinforces what I was saying before about how it's more into those people that like the cargo runs and logistics, because it's basically an upgraded version of the Caterpillar too. So
I forgot the Caterpillar is still like the best cargo ship for whatever freaking reason.
Yeah, and this has got more cargo than that, so that's probably why they're so excited. They're getting a bigger cargo ship, so they can even do even more now. Yeah, and I think it'll really take off when they make it so you can buy it in game too, because that'll give the cargo people something to work towards if they own it.
I'm just gonna mention a general thing. If there's a ship that has already been released. Now, this is just for all the questions on, X ship, when is it coming? CIG has given up what is essentially a crystal clear mirror, or crystal clear window into what is their current ship pipeline for stuff that is... Actually, they gave up stuff that was both announced and unannounced. The only thing I would expect to not be on the roadmap is stuff in concept. That stuff just pops up sometimes. They don't most of the time they don't just write down, let's create a Argo capital in Q3. It usually is, I want to create a Argo capital. And they make it in a week, and then they push it up, and then that becomes a new task. is when they want to put more depth into it to actually sell it, or actually just make it straight to flyable. It's the only thing I would expect not put on the roadmap. But most of the roadmap, in terms of stuff that you can see as this is releasing this year, it's going to release. Like, it's going to be released in that time frame. If it's on the roadmap currently, or it's not, or it's on the roadmap but it's not put on the release view, then do not expect it this year. So people who want like the Hall series, if they're not on the or they're not on the roadmap or like the release view, then it's probably most likely not going to be this year, unless it's added on in Q4 because they moved some prerequisites up.
Okay, there's a good question here that I think you might be able to help with, which is question, with docking being worked on, what do you think the optimal time frame is for the whole series?
And that was what that was also kind of what I was answering.
Well, you're leading? Okay, cool. I thought
yeah,
that was
I mean, docking, I mean, I could see the whole series being more like Q1, Q2.
Mm-hmm.
Then like Q3, Q4 next year. I do think the whole series is going to come in some way next year, or at least so relatively soon. Like it's going to be more of a priority than like most other things.
Yeah, I honestly think once more of that foundational tech comes online, things like the server meshing, iCache, and all that, I think we'll probably see a more flood of things coming online. I think they've all kind of been held up by that. That's a really common thing in games development. Like, things tend to come online at the same time, more towards as a project goes on. They've all they're kind of all waiting, and then as they can slot them in, they all just come in very quickly behind when that feature comes online. So once server meshing and all iCache and all that are more stabilized, I think you'll find stuff will more rapidly come online.
But got a question from Foxy, and then we'll just move on to the next bit of topic.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I just turned it off.
To be honest, I was reading that chat because that chat came in clear.
That's all right.
Thank you. So with the Ninetales lockdown revolving around Crusader, should we expect it to drop after Crusader's release in Q2? Because they said on the IS or the SC Live that Ninetales was a little earlier. Actually, they said it was in testing, so it could be Q1, but I can't really give it much of a date on it because a lot of it's in the game right now. But I don't know how done it is because I can only read words so much and files so much without knowing how it actually works.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't say, it doesn't say in like a little text bit, we're planning to release this in Q1. The only hint that there is that despite it's Crusader, but despite that, there's nothing that actually puts it on Crusader other than the fact it just says Crusader. It's entirely a space mission, so it can just be done for Q1 if they wanted to. And then, so answer this one last question because it's also just fun. Do you think once the gold standard for the Vanduul fleet is done, these people who worked on that would go and assist targeting more larger PU ships? Or do more Squadron 42 related tasks? It's probably just going to be a mix, honestly. Like, they're probably going to move more... that group of people is more towards, like... Some of them might specialize in organic shader stuff. So they might move either towards organic objects or alien ships. It's less... We can't... Oh...
Well, it also shows how far they are along with Squadron 42. If they are closer to finishing it, and you see them start moving more people towards PU stuff, you kind of know that they're starting to wrap up things on the PU. And we've seen that a little bit with things moving a bit more towards the PU with designers. So the next group I'd start to see move across, I would actually speculate that they would be artists that would be moving over next. Generally programmers that stay around the longest to remove bugs and stuff like that. So yeah. Alrighty then. Any more questions?
Okay, let's move. Yep. Yeah, no, let's just move on to topic number 2, which is just just in general, this new roadmap. We did the roadmap as a topic last stream. Now we're going to do it again. Ain't that great?
Right.
But yeah, so I'm guessing you've seen the roadmap. If you want, I could send you a link, and then you could throw it onto that screen that you had up.
Yep. Link it to me. I will do my best to do this live. That is not from you. That is Space Tomato whispering me. Where's your link? There it is. Got it. Opening that now. It's loading. It's loading. It's loading. I'll wait till it comes on.
Yeah, just turn on release view, because that's the important one.
Yeah.
They might move stuff from like the general or progress tracker to the release view as time goes on, but with CIG, I just say doubt it.
Right.
I doubt everything CIG does. So now we got the roadmap. Let's talk about good old-fashioned 3.14.
3.14? Which one of these do you want me to? Which one of these do you want me to?
3.14.
3.14, but which locations, gameplay, ships, and vehicles?
Just we'll go top to bottom. We'll kind of just generally go about it as we go on. Oh, Salvage 10 is Reclaimer gameplay. Oh, T0. No. If only. Why have they not finished frickin' elevator, Caterpillar elevators on doors? Did the
I think that's more sign of the modules for the Caterpillar. I think when they come back to work on the modules for the Caterpillar, they'll finish off those things.
Yeah. Q2 seems pretty freaking large. You got Crusader coming in. You got do you remember when they said Crusader was coming mid-year, and I was like, that'll be CitizenCon, because that's what always happens. So I was just like, yeah, it'll be CitizenCon, and they're saying tentative, and that it's still in mid-year, but I get the feeling it's going to get pushed back, but we'll see what happens. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's the first time. I hope I'm wrong, and it is the first time they release it mid-year. I really, really do. Give me a second to open up the roadmap roundups, because I think they gave definitions what the hell tentative means. I think
tentative just means that their best guess is there, but if they don't make it, it just gets pushed back. That's basically what tentative means.
It meant no, because they gave a percentage point about how confident they are. And they gave a 70% confidence point in a tentative date. So they're more than 50-50 that it's going to be there.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good then.
Yeah. I wouldn't... Here's the thing. This is the general thing, because I'm kind of reading into gameplay. Tech. Yeah, if you see tech, it's not coming in that patch. That's the best way to go about it. If it says tech anywhere on this roadmap, it's not coming in. Friggin' hacking? No. Healing? No. What else is on here? Salvage? No.
I think that's an interesting thing though. Actually putting Crusader in game, that means that they'll actually kind of have gas planets up and running. So I'm kind of interested how they're going to do that, because you get how we've got the star, oh god, what am I talking about? The gas tech in out in the middle of nowhere at the moment, so to speak. Actually having a whole dense version of an actual planet of gas, I think that's a whole nother layer of complexity. And I'm interested to see how they.
It's completely different tech. And anyone who says it's similar should just go up into a pool and castrate themselves.
It is similar, but it's definitely different. I actually think the way the textures are drawn from an art perspective are similar, but I do think from a coding side, they're totally different.
I wouldn't even say the way textures are drawn are similar in that vein. It's okay. So the way the best way I can go about how the current gas tech works is it's basically just a giant object. If it's a gas cloud currently in game and space, it's just the best way to think about it. And if it's a gas giant, it's a dynamic cloud cover. There are going to be some static clouds, because that's what all the gas giants are. They're static clouds. But the gas giant clouds would have to be dynamic in a way.
Yeah. All right. They'd have to move. And
actually, I don't want to say have to be. We don't know what they're going for with the gas giant stuff. It could just be a blurry sphere. And if it's a blurry sphere, so many people are going to be so upset. and I'm gonna laugh. But
you would have to
I'd also
imagine
be kind of bummed.
you'd have to imagine the tech for like the gas would lead over to moving clouds on other planets, though. You know, like just above a normal Earth-like planet, or you know, we've got new cloud tech on some of the planets, but it's very static at the moment. You'd expect eventually to see them start moving and stuff. Well, I would hope on some level. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Hopefully, speaking of just like Crusader Artisan in general, talking about the Star Citizen League Strips and Drops show, hosted by me. Yeah, there should be a new episode this weekend on just stuff from Orison that's popped up over like the past year. It'll be more of a summation than anything too mind-blowing. But I think it's going to be a fun little summary. XE must be looking at a stream 48 hours nonstop. Your eyes do look like it, man.
No, yeah, everyone loves commenting on how tired I look. They must stare at my face a lot. That's all I can say. They must look at my
Get some sunglasses, man.
Oh wait, hang on. Oh, I've got some. Hang on. There we go. So I don't look so tired. How about that? There. But now all you can see is my screen. So now you can see what I'm looking at.
Perfect.
There you go. That's what the view looks like for me. Anyway.
I got a top-down setup.
I got two screens. See, look, there you go. There's a.
Well, yeah, we got a top-down setup. I got a left-right setup.
So I use this one up here to control the browser and stuff, and Discord and whatnot. And down here is where I work, so to speak.
Well, that's fun.
Anyway, I really can't see properly with these on though because it's too dark. So I'm gonna take them off. Anyway, back to the roadmap. Okay, we're actually getting FPS scanning on foot, which I think is a big thing. I think like being able to actually scan and look for hand miners in a cave is going to be amazing because at the moment it's terrible. And remember, that was actually meant to come with hand mining, which was way back when they brought out the prison. So that's almost a year late, so to speak.
Yes, yeah, they are all different things. Anyone who says other, yeah, unless it's like unless a CIG graphics developer says otherwise, that is the way to look at it.
Yeah. Just elaborate on what you're saying, because you're replying to a chat message.
Yeah, Crusader is a gas giants. So gas clouds and gas giants, volumetric clouds, and space nebula are all different kinds of clouds and all handled in their own way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the ones for ore and gas are going to need something different too, because they're going to have to spawn and unspawn and stuff like that, and probably move as they get sucked in as well. So yeah, definitely all slight different variations of the same theme. But yeah, they'll definitely need a lot different code in the background.
Yeah, well, I mean, the theme is cloud and then everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so something else that's kind of interesting, I think in Q2 is this vehicle XML stuff. I wonder what that means. I hope it doesn't make leaks harder, but it might change how people... It's going to change how people approach the data mining stuff.
Where's this?
With, like, Urkel.
Where is this? I'm looking for... Oh, Cortec, here we go. This is probably where it is.
Yeah, Cortec. Yeah,
migrating legacy vehicle XMLs to data core. All right, yeah, fair enough. And data core is the internal thing, isn't it? So yeah, okay, so they're just moving it over to their own system. All right, yeah, fair enough.
If Piggles was here, he'd be able to explain what that means better. But I do wonder, in my own small monkey brain, if that's going to change how stuff like Urkel and
this.
What else? There's just a bunch of XML.
This is a big one, man. The vehicle modular swapping.
Yeah, I mean.
That's pretty big, because that leads on to things like the Caterpillar, the Carrack, the Javelin, like the Retaliator. And I know the Retaliator is the test bed, and it's also the one on that image. So that's really cool. Some of these modules that we've been announced, and we might actually finally hear about some of these modules that we've been promised for years. It's going to add more depth to those ships I just mentioned. So things like the Carrack,
well, here's the thing. Read the description. System support enabling.
Yeah. So I know they're just turning it on. They're probably not going to sell the modules. I know that, but it's still. I can hope. Stop crushing my dreams, hater. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I doubt there's going to be any modules on the initial release. If there are any, it's probably just going to be a testbed module, but that's all you get. You get one. You get one.
You get one.
And then moving on to
the shield system too is coming online as well at that same time period. That's a big patch, man. That's a big patch. Like I'm going through all the stuff that we've just looked at. That's big.
Well, okay, it's not that big because a lot of this stuff is going to be just drip fed throughout the year. Because like Shield Tech, I expect that to be the initial release on a couple of ships, and then it'll just be drip fed throughout the year. Because like the range shaders and a bunch of other stuff that they did on the initial release of, there was something that they drip fed throughout the year last year. I'm pretty sure it was raindrops, but it's probably going to be the same for shields. I think they mentioned they were going to do the same thing with shields.
This I will say, this patch does seem heavy on tech and light on ships, because all we're getting is the Taurus. Where if you go,
there's also the straight to flyable ship that was teased in the unannounced thing, I think.
That's true. Well, there's 2 patches that have 1 ship. All the others have 3, 4. You know, so there's it almost looks like that kind of shows that they've moved to that system where they were doing it every 6 months. So yeah.
They got an unannounced ship that's being worked on from March to May. That should be releasing in Q2. And whatever that is, who knows? Ooh.
Yeah. Well, see, this one here is in kind of this one's almost Invictus is somewhere in between here. You see, so that you can see some of these things here coming online. Especially something like the Nova tank, that'll definitely line up with Invictus, so to speak. So, yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what else we get around this time.
I see someone asking in chat, because this is just something that I think is interesting to ask. How am I spanning a land vehicle if no materialized tech? And I just want to mention, because I read this entire thing, and there's no mention of how do I spawn a ground vehicle inside of my ship, even though they've been testing this for fucking years now. They had a version that worked with the VMA back in like Q2, and they just did nothing with it. Actually, no, it wasn't even Q2 2020. It was like Q2 2019, I think. And I think they had like a different version in Q2, like in like Q3, or Q1 2020.
Probably one of those things that keeps breaking every time they add something else. So they've just kind of, put it.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with it is. But moving on. Now we're moving on to Q3, and we got that small outpost for NPCs that you will not be able to do anything with, and it's going to just be more things on the planet.
Yep. What about gameplay wise? Yeah. Weapon stripping.
We got the weapon stripping. It's just
that's a pretty elaborate feature that I would expect to see in something cool like, say, imagine if that was in Counter-Strike as an example. I'm surprised that hasn't been implemented in more first-person shooters. So to see it in Star Citizen is pretty kind of cool in my book.
I mean, because it's just a pain in the ass. I mean, it's a pain in the ass to develop for, and it's also just a pain in the ass to manage. Like for a Twitch shooter like CS:GO, just doesn't make sense. For Tarkov, it makes sense, and that's why it's in Tarkov.
Do you think? I know they're doing EVA improvements, but I can kind of take that or leave it. But this cutting tier 0, that to me looks like the first signs of salvage. I don't know if you agree with that, but
well, the important thing is that salvage isn't going to be this year, so. Because it's tech on Q3, and I kind of doubt they're going to get it in Q4.
Yep.
The bigger thing I see is the player interaction experience. Give me that freaking HUD 2.0, baby. I want it. I do want it.
Well, it actually says here salvage tier 0 in the same thing. So that's for quarter 3.
Yeah, it says salvage tier 0 tech.
Yeah, so it's just the tech. Interesting. But I reckon, like honestly, for me, tier 0 would be the hand tool and stuff. So the only thing that I would possibly even consider ship-wise would be the Vulture. I don't think the Reclaimer's going to have that.
I don't know why cutting tier 0... Should be cutting
Makes sense.
tier 1. They don't have a tier 0.
Yeah, well, tier 0 will be cutting with a hand tool. Salvage tech tier 1, I think it'll be just taking components out of ships and taking them back to your ship, which is kind of what happens with the Vulture.
Then there's a bunch of Crusader ships, and then you got your Redeemer. Then you got your mother. This feature kills me. This last feature in Core Tech. How this isn't like a thing that exists already kind of boggles the mind. It really shows that
does line up with the EVA tier 2 though. So
what, the last Core Tech?
I thought we were talking about zero push and pull. Sorry, my bad.
No, zero G push and pull I doubt is going to be anything that big. It's going to be interesting, but it's I'm more interested in this Core Tech. Give it to me now.
I haven't got Core Tech open, but I just want to finish this one before we move on, because I think this leads in with the dynamic events, bombs and space mines. That like clearly is something that they can add to dynamic events if you've got to clear a minefield or something like that, and the ability to bomb some ground targets as well. I think that would be something that leads in.
Something to mention, I think, is that dynamic events is an interesting buzzword, but it's not something to label everything. Stuff is still going to be handled by the old mission system, but don't get too hyped for the idea of dynamic events with the initial dynamic event. Most of the dynamic events from here on are going to be smaller experiences. Xenothreat was, I mean, it was probably a couple. It costs a pretty penny in terms of man hours of work. I mean, they've been commissioning voice actors for it for a hot minute. They've been also just developing it for past like a couple years, or at least a version of it. Something Xenothreat related. Xenothreat's just something they've had work into.
Getting on what you were talking about, the Core Tech there.
I doubt. Wait, just real quick. I doubt the bombs are anything to do with the Nautilus. By speaking to Genji, yeah, it's just the Nautilus is coming at some point, probably next year, because it's one of those ships that.
I would think the bombs are more akin to the A2, with the C2 and the M2 already out earlier in the year.
The A2 does.
That seems like
A2
the
doesn't
A2
do mines. The A2.
No, the A2 does bombs. It says mines and bombs, and the ability to drop them. It actually says that. So it to me, it doesn't point to the Nautilus. It points more to the A2. With the C2 and the M2 being out earlier in the year, it allows them to get the A2 out and the A2 to drop bombs.
Oh, I see what you mean. Why are these under the same task? Mines are completely different from bombs. One of them is like a boom that you leave somewhere else, and the other one is a boom that you drop on someone. It's a projectile.
Yeah. All right, moving on to what you were trying to get to, and I interrupted you, and I'm going to interrupt you again and move you back to it, because I actually think that is a very important piece of tech, which is the core tech that is ship interior, exterior culling.
That's it's an important piece of tech, right?
That is. It's
but
massive.
It pisses me off.
It's a massive piece of tech. It's going
No. It's a massive piece of tech in your mind, but this is something that should have been implemented on day freaking one. And according to Pickles, it was. They just cut it out because it just broke servers.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would think. I would agree with you. I'm surprised it was not here earlier, because it would definitely improve performance. And as bigger ships come into the game, I actually think that's a sign that the. Well, for example, we don't have interiors for the Javelin and the Idrises that we have in game at the moment. That would actually allow that. That would actually.
Those can come in game whenever they want. They wouldn't change that much from having them on and off. Believe it or not.
I'm just saying it would improve performance drastically for the larger ships, is what I'm getting at.
I actually.
Well, you're rendering less than half the ship. When it's just the exterior, you don't need all those entities on the inside. You don't need all the walls. Like, most of the detail on a ship is on the inside. So I would say almost a third of the polygons just poof and they're gone. And that's what culling is. So it should be able to allow you to render larger ships. Instead of when you look at it and it goes to 5 frames, you'll be able to look at it and it's smooth.
Well, here's the other thing I don't get, is that there is also an interior culling that's in, but it's not. I don't get it. I think there's just something inherently It should be like called a refresh because there is something in there that it does it at a very minor level, but just doesn't do it on a major level. I don't get it. Do not get it.
All right, so someone just mentioned this in chat, and I hadn't even opened this tab, but apparently the A2, there you go, A2 is actually listed for there as well, so that kind of does confirm what I was trying to say. That actually kind of scares me, though, considering how much you love this ship.
Well,
the Redeemer, the Redeemer for 3.5.
The old design isn't. The old design was awful, but if the new design looks at thrusters and makes them make more sense, I kind of will get it. But it just doesn't make sense as it is.
It does look a lot bigger from the recent photos too. They show the back door down.
It doesn't really look that much bigger. It's just the Redeemer has such a waste of space.
Well,
it's an awfully designed ship.
The old ship basically was like a ramp that one person could walk up. In the pictures I saw, it was almost 3 people wide. So that shows quite a drastic difference to the way the ship looks. So she's definitely fatter than she was. Let's just put it that way.
Well, you also got to remember that the hull used to be a foot freaking thick for whatever reason. Like there was a lot of wasted space, as in like. There was a lot of true wasted space instead of like that wasted space they say is in a lot of other ships nowadays. Like there is a legitimate problem with how much space they waste in that ship.
Look, I've held on to it because I had a sentimental attachment to the Next Great Starship. I know some people hate the way it looks. I realistically probably will get rid of it eventually. I kind of want to see that final, like, in-game flying around. I got massive feels at PAX 2014 when that shit came on. You know, when the pliers opened and the lightning went through? Like, the whole room was just, like, bzzz, like, electric. It was just amazing. And that's where I brought that ship, and I think that's where most people that were in the room on the day, like, when he was up on stage, I think almost everyone in the room just brought that ship from that image alone. It was amazing.
Little did they know it would take years to get to today where nothing is done. Now we move on to 316.
Can we just talk about the last 2 ships, which is the 2 Ions? Again, Crusader, love them or hate them. Now, what do you just love or hate the Ares?
Crusader.
Yeah, Crusader,
the Ares.
Crusader Ares.
I'm fine with it. It's a ship with big gun. How can I not support that? Okay,
I just think it was overpriced for what it is. Yeah.
If the Vandal Scythe can exist, then the Ares has full right to exist in lore.
Yeah. I think it'll be not... Like, I think once it's in game, it's not going to be as popular as people think it is. I think it's going to be one of those ships that is absolutely destroyed by other fighters. But
what's going to happen is that it's going to be for the initial release, it's going to spawn like a bunch of arena commander clips of people just demolishing people with that one shot.
Yeah.
I want to see I better see a fucking supercut of people just demolishing fighters.
I can see people like Captain Burks and Moist Noodles and Dark Lore and all those PvP guys doing like massive montage videos of it. So yeah, I can agree with that. All right, let's move on to 3.6 then. Where do you want to start with 3.6? 3.16.
So we got Orison V2, which is nothing. It's going because you remember New Babbage V2.
Yep.
That
it's
one
just
shop.
adding more shops. That's all it is. We're adding more shops.
It wasn't even more shops. It was like 2 shops at max, I think.
Yeah.
And then we got the bigger thing.
They do sell some good stuff though. So like
the bigger thing, ignoring weapon misfire and wear. Ignore that because that one's just something that's like, oh, my weapon doesn't work sometimes. Oh no, there's player slide. Oh boy, there's player slide.
There's a lot of first-person shooter stuff. Do you think the first-person shooter stuff is pointing towards Theatres of War after that, maybe? Because look, that's a lot of first-person. That's a lot. Look, guns not working, player sliding, prone, active feature ladders, active tech physical weapon handling, active feature lockers and inventory. That's Squadron 42 stuff. Fire extinguisher, which is the fire tech. But to me, that is all pointing to Theatres of War. And even if there's fire in the Theatres of War thing, that could be there as well. So all that, to me, reads Theatres of War. I don't know if you feel the same.
I wouldn't say that indicates a release. Theatres of War, they're kind of poking and prodding, in terms of releasing it after. Like, it's just a a huge look at like the FPS by the actor FPS stuff by the actor feature team, I wouldn't be surprised if there is like another general look at it here, where they just look at general movement and whatnot. But Theaters of War itself is looking like they're targeting for a test within the next 2 months.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Do you read that one there under core tech? I've been wanting that for years. And I asked about it and I never ever got an answer. Dynamic door alignment vehicle. That's amazing. That means you can land on a rocky planet. Instead of it being 10 foot off the ground, you can't get onto it. It'll come down so you can get right on it. That's amazing. I've wanted that for years. That's amazing.
It's not. I wouldn't think it's. I would not get excited. It doesn't mean things are going to extend farther. It just means things are going to extend closer. It won't just catapult a ship off the ground.
Oh, okay, all right, maybe I might give you that, but look, don't stop taking away my dreams. Leave me alone.
I mean, they might extend the range. I don't know, but I wouldn't count on it. Probably, it definitely just means that
it would have to mean that they've already allowed for that tech, because otherwise they're gonna have to go back and like add extensions in. So I do see where you're coming from, but they may already have a little overextension. It just doesn't go that far down. It's now fixed distance, and hopefully if they can get another little bit of distance, that would be great. But like, because one of the ones I think about realistically that happens to me a lot is the reclaimer, that single elevator. I know when you land on certain planets, you can't get vehicles up ramps and stuff. So even say something like the Mercury Staron at the moment, if you don't land on a perfectly flat surface, it's like this far off the ground and you can't get the vehicle up. So just the ability to get the ramp to go a little lower will be amazing. And that doesn't really. That doesn't really actually require an extension. That just means the ramp has to be able to rotate another 5 or 6 degrees. It's not a lot of work.
Well, that's the thing. That's the point. You're supposed to be restricted from doing that. It's just to prevent those. This is to prevent like the current numbers of where they extend stuff just from destroying your ship. Like you want to open the 600i elevator and it's like way too freaking tall. Now it's going to open up at a reasonable area, like stuff like that. Like it's going to prevent you from going all the way down rather than be this additional help. They don't want to help you. They just want to make sure you don't die.
I'm going to leave that as a wait and see, because I would hope to think that they do want to help us. They do want us to be able to get in the ships and out. And again, that is a very complex system if you think about how it works. But if they can get that to work that I'm hoping, that would be amazing. And I've been wanting that for such a long time.
My opinion is that it's less the fact that they... I think it's less that, the ship is buggy or the ship isn't working right, that you can't. It's intentional.
Let's put it this way:
they don't want you to land out anywhere.
It's a massive quality of life issue for the ships being able to get people to land on planets, and if they can fix that to the way I think it needs to be, and I know I'm probably hoping way too much, and I have been for a really long time, but just seeing that on the roadmap makes me excited, because if they can get it to the point it needs to be, you can legitimately land anywhere and legitimately get out and get your vehicles where they need to go. That is amazing, and it's going to add so much to gameplay, just the dynamicness of it. So look, don't crush my dreams. Let's just see where it goes. I think you are being very realistic, and I'm being very unrealistic. I will point that out, but don't crush my dreams. Leave me alone. All right, so let's go back to what you were talking about. So I think the only thing left actually is ship vehicles, but there's nothing in there other than more shields. So I think we're done.
Because it's probably. Well, shield ship emitters is pretty interesting because it's gonna just like.
They're becoming physicalized.
Huh?
They're becoming physicalized. So back here from the previous core tech, wherever it was. Which
technically they are physicalized. You can shoot you could shoot them inside of a ship, and you'd be able to. It's probably just a more.
So what it actually says is converting ship
physicalization.
Converting ship shield emitters into physical objects. So they're actually in the ship now. So they can be shot, so someone could be in the ship and shoot it and destroy it and stuff like that. So yeah. I think the only other interesting one here is, again, it's more of the modularity. It's making the M50 engines that are bespoke swappable. Apparently, there is a couple of different versions of that, so that'll be good for those people that own that racing ship. But hopefully, that's a thing that we see going forward: is more bespoke modules. Come on, like we see it for the Retaliator. Now we've got another one on the roadmap for the M50, and hopefully that trend continues for all those ships that are modular, starting to get their stuff. I'd like to see that, hopefully.
I'm just going to answer a few chat questions.
Go for it.
I've noticed. So, do me a favor, put that back up.
Yeah, sorry. It's just a part of the flicking.
Thank
you.
Yeah. Okay, so... What's this? Okay. Question from Mac Unknown. How can they do Theaters of War when Star Marine is so awful? There's new players. Arena Commander and Star Marine appear to be orphans. Well, you see, the magic trick they can do is make the gameplay not shit. No, but Star Marine and Arena Commander are probably just going to be abandoned. Like, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to touch them again until CIG gets to a point where they say, okay, we don't want these to be simply test beds anymore. We want these to be actual gameplay modules.
Well, that's kind of what they were. They were test beds, and they've been tested, and now they've proved to, they've given them the data they need, and now they're going to implement it into the persistent universe. They've done their job.
Theaters of War is something they want to touch on as this more consistently touched on module. Like, they want to just, hey, I want we want this to be a fun game that people play for fun and to test, rather than people play Star Marine just to test most of the time. Like, if you played Star Marine, it's awful. But that's just because Star Citizen FPS combat is just awful. At the moment, or it's not awful. It's just kind of jank as hell. Then question. I know this team that develops. Huh?
I was gonna say, do you want to answer that question I've highlighted or not?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go top to bottom. Right. Sam Reynolds asks, I noticed the team that develops armor isn't on the roadmap. Any news on this and other armor types? It's probably just best to assume that they're either... I did not read the entire thing, so I'm just going to assume here. But it's either been put in as just single tasks, so it's on miscellaneous support, or whatever they have as a miscellaneous, here's everything topic, or it's going to be on an unannounced bit, because maybe it's a cool armor, who knows? Or it's just factored in with a bunch of other clothing objects, because that's what they are, they're just clothing. And then we got any news regarding Navmesh for planet NPCs roaming around outdoors. Now, if the roadmap doesn't mention it, it's probably not happening yet. I think the team is still mainly using the only nav meshes they need right now are for like specific areas, and they haven't really moved towards having like this dynamic moving people. Like, the only thing they've actually touched on that front is, I could have sworn they added like stuff to dynamically tell what's in front of them for ships, right? So
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's all there is at the moment. There's no real reason to go deep into it until they either approach missions more in line with that, or they just want to, I guess. Squadron 42 just uses a regular nav mesh because, they don't really go anywhere outside their bases. What else is on here? Okay. Question. When we have Arya on the show? I asked. She just said LOL. I'll ask her if she wants to come on, or at least wants to come on for drips and drops.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But she hasn't expressed interest, but I have asked her twice now. Whole 2 times.
The rest of the questions are just by Piggles being stupid, so I think we'll call it there and wrap it up. Unless you've got anything else you want to
I mean, there's not much to add.
It's been a long stream. We've gone half an hour longer than we normally go, so...
Yeah, I want to say thanks for the reception of the last 2 drips and drops stuff. Hopefully that becomes a much more... Ah, fuck!
That was the cat. Yeah, I thought so. Said it a few times this week. Right. Yeah, I just want to add, you've done quite a good job with those drips and drops, so yeah, keep it up.
Yeah, I bought some headphones, so now audio balancing will be better. And also, thanks to the Stack Up charity guys, they have started, because they're starting to send some of the goodies from that in, and hopefully might do a giveaway of some of that stuff. Not the chair, though. I need this chair. I've not bought any furniture for this apartment other than my bed and the desks I work on.
Yeah.
And I kind of need the chair.
Yeah, it's all good. I was going to just add, we at Infrunners, we've started up a Eco server for a game called Eco. It's got some similar elements to Star Citizen. We'll be starting that on Friday, 10 a.m. USA Eastern Standard Time. We've got a few other communities joining us, like Space Tomato. We've posted previously in leaks. We've also got Infrunners. I've even reached out to Board Gamer. He said he'll have a look into it and get back to me. So I'm hoping to get a lot of Star Citizen people into that. If you are interested, I jump on the Infrunners Discord and look at the info channel, and you can get the server details there. We can dynamically expand the server to accommodate the number of players. But we'll probably talk about having a general eco. We'll talk about having like a branch of the server staff like on ours, so we'll have a little eco channel you can join on the SCLeaker stuff if you don't want to dip all the way over to Info Runners. Yeah, that's right. And we can copy. And we changed the name of the server to be. It's called Eco Citizen. So now we're going to try and just get other Star Citizen people into it. But yeah, we're trying to get a community together because there is a very strong similarity between how Star Citizen's Quanta will work and how this works, except there's no AI in Eco. It's all 100% player driven. And if you like collaborating with other people, like the thought of being on a ship like a Constellation and all working together, if that appeals to you, then Eco may appeal to you as well. And I know Piggles is going to come join us. Hater said, you said you want to build a house, Hater, is what you told me earlier.
No, I was going to build a Haters Hotel and Apartments.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh no, Haters Hotel and Apartments and Logging Company.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, there's many different professions you can look at. So if you want to have a look into the game, or you want us to show you the game, even I've been playing it on. So we're testing out the server at the moment. So if you want to get in and learn how to play, you can jump in. We're going to be and then we're at 10 a.m. on Friday. We're going to reset it all, and everyone can kick off and play together. I do know. Yeah, Space Tomato's keen. I've got to go over there and do a stream with him, I think, tomorrow. And we're going to show that off to his community as well. So, yeah. So if you're looking for... if you feel like joining us, please reach out. I'm looking for more people to join, because the more people we have, the more the fun it is working together. With that, is there anything else you'd like to add, Ada?
Oh, yeah, there's one last thing. I want to talk about the... because I just realized I probably should get back, mention all the things, stack up goals, stack up stuff. So the plan, I've already kind of made dates for the next for 3 of the dynamic events,
right?
Or not dynamic events, fuck, I meant 3 of this little fun little streams, videos, whatever. So dates and whatnot. What's going to happen is that the first bit, which is a Execute and Hater or me debate on whatever is the worst ship. I think we'll probably expand the scope where Execute just can pick his least favorite origin ship, and I'm just going to pick the Redeemer ship.
Right.
And we'll just talk about which one is worse.
Can we get Piggles to play Judge, or maybe even Aria? We'll get them to come in and they can.
We will get a mediator, but that should be towards the beginning of this month, hopefully.
Right.
Yeah, we'll just get it done at some point. And it'll probably just be uploaded as a video rather than a stream.
Yeah.
Then we have Huh?
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have the modding we have a modding stream we want to do. where we're just gonna fit a bunch of shit into another ship with console commands and whatnot. It'll be fun, but that one's gonna be pushed back to an indefinite amount of time as we kind of want to tread. We don't want to rustle the waters too much with the Aptos situation.
Yep.
So that one I would probably see happening within after like a month or two.
Yep.
Then there's the roast of Hater 115. Now, that
and everyone's invited.
Invited.
We'll just read it from chat. That whole episode will be reading from chat.
No, it's not going to be reading from chat. I will open up submissions where you can, for everyone, anyone.
Maybe we should do that as... Are you going to do video submissions from people roasting you? That'd be kind of cool.
We will do video submissions. We'll do audio submissions.
Okay,
we'll do all kinds of roast submissions. It will be open for about 2 weeks. On March 1st, and then we will either do it on March 21st, or we'll do it on like the third weekend of March.
Yeah,
and we'll do it live. It'll probably be a whole event. We'll try to get as many server moderators as possible. Then we have the chess event. That one should be happening second weekend of February.
What was the chess event?
Basically, we will be doing chess games inside the MSR in a Arena Commander free fly area. Currently, we have 19 entries.
Is that going to be a drunk stream? That feels like a drunk stream to me. I don't know if anyone else feels that.
I do not drink. I'm straight edge.
I know, but it feels like a drunk stream. But all right, maybe you can be the responsible one for a change.
The roast will be happening live. It'll be in the same format as all these streams and whatnot.
Right. So
it'll be fun. You can be as drunk as you want to execute for the roast stream. The chess will just be just a general we'll do chess for a bit. That one will just be Twitch only, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't want to fill up it'll probably be, because I know it's going to be like 8 hours long. 20 entries for like 15 minutes each. I think we've changed the way the tournament works a bit, but it's going to be if you join, top prize MSR, number 2 prize, 2 ship packages, and then everyone who wins a game, you get 2.5 million AUEC per victory.
Yeah,
that's right. You are being subsidized to hell for a fun event. So you join up, and you get submission entries are on the Discord. Star System Links Discord. Just look up on server news. You can join the event server, which will also be doing the Xeno Threat event, which no one's really too hyped for, so I kind of doubt it's going to be that big of a thing.
We'll see. It might be a cool thing to get the SC whole leaks community together and get 40 of us on one server. I think that might be a thing. I think you're underestimating that. I think that could be a cool thing to stream live with a whole bunch of guys from SC leaks.
But yeah, that's just a general rundown of a bunch of the fun stuff. There's one last thing, which is the album and song. Also, the Disco Lando trophy. By the way,
the Disco Lando trophy will just be kind of off until we can get to CitizenCon, and that might be 2-3 years away with the way COVID's going. So.
Oh no! I'm just gonna mail it in.
Yeah, they're never going to show that on stream or anything, but yeah. Well, I actually think a part of the goal said to present it to him in person, and I actually think we should present it to him in person. I think we can wait, and I think the community would like us to wait till we can get there and deliver it to him in person.
I don't want to. I don't want to wait 2 years to give him a trophy, especially because SitCon will probably not happen next year.
I don't know. Maybe we should do that as a poll. We'll ask the community. Do you want us to mail it in, or do you want us to wait?
We'll do a poll on the trophy. We'll figure it out. Every time a pawn moves, take a drink.
Yeah, I would be wasted, and you would just deliberately start moving the same pawn backwards and forwards just so I drank more, so you could win. That's all good. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Or are we done? I think we're done. I'm done. I'm tired. I want to get back to bed.
No, there's nothing else. Nothing else at all.
All right, then. Well, with that, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll catch you in the next one. He's been Hater. I've been Execute. I'm going to get to bed. And Hater, you've got to read the credits.
Yeah. Thank you to all our patrons on Patreon. If you patron for $10 or more every month, you can have your name read at the credits here, which I will begin doing so now. Cap Despawn, Reccom, Josh Alman, Dnienik Kumli, Boobbot, Boxnix, AA001, Sorston, Kenny G. Sullivan, Professor Mango, Brain, David William, Sam Zimmerman, Snarky.live, Faydog74, Unctum, Henry V, Archie, Dirk Mervis, and now we're back to the beginning. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully we can talk to you again real soon.
Find someone for us to transfer these fine people to, please, Hader.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. With that, guys, I'm going to move on to the subscribe screen, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for everything, guys.